and everything's looking like it's a go. I still don't even know what I'm gonna call this episode. All I know is it's 420, number 426. Even though I did a 15-minute video, and that counted as a video on YouTube, I'm still going to say that this one is 426 because this is going to be an actual 30-minute video. I'm gonna keep it under 30 as much as possible. Let me hit the button here. It's a little Sonic Racing. This is what my son wants me to play. But y'all know how I do. I'm about to share some jewels with y'all. I do know who I'm going to share today. I'm gonna share a little Dana with the data, and I'm gonna share a little bit of Hannibal is Hungry today. Staying on code, staying on topic though. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The two mayors, the mayor of New York, Eric Adams, and the mayor of Chicago. What's his name again? Yeah, y'all know his name. He's a knucklehead, but you know, I got it written right here. Brandon Johnson. So I'm writing everything down now so that I can have, check my notes and make sure that I'm covering all my bases and statistics and all that good stuff. This is Sonic Racing. This is the demo. My son's been playing it on PlayStation 5. We're at number 5. Number 6 is coming out soon. I'm still on Switch. So this is a Switch demo. I'm not going to download it and buy it. I would get Mario Kart. Well, my game plan is to get me a Switch 2 in the probably next year or so. But I want to fix up my OLED first. I want to get some better grips. I got a good screen TV, so I'm good with TV. But as far as on the go, I want some better grips, a better case, a better all the accessories that you gotta buy with these consoles in order to really get the most out of them. I really haven't got the most out of my OLED yet. That's why it's no rush to get my Switch 2, which is going to be my last console. I'm just keeping it 100. I don't need a PlayStation 5, PlayStation 6. I am going to fix my PlayStation 3, and I'm going to share some of the concepts and ideas behind that. Opening up your consoles and things of that nature, the difference between hardware and software. But one thing at a time. I'm sharing. I'm trying to become a part of the black. We call it the black media, but we'll get more into black, brown, beige, bronze, or whatever color we want to call ourselves, as people, which is weird, but whatever, press that. So this is just a demo of it, and let me turn it down a little bit. Show the tutorial. Yeah, show the tutorial. Why not? Turn it down a little bit. Oh, it's Halloween. Happy Halloween, everybody. And I'm sharing. I'm listening to today's theme music. That's what I got to start doing too. It's a classic. It's a classic album that my brother Il Paduck had has something to do with it. Hawk is another old school. We talking about the Minds of Soul being a part of the Fifth Dynasty with the Roots and all the crews from back in the day. From Philadelphia, PA. I'm gonna play a little bit of this. Is The Last Emperor, and yeah.
And I grow impatient and undergo a horrible transformation. Late night when the moon is in full formation, I tune into my local radio station. I hear whack rappers and I grow impatient and undergo a horrible transformation.
Just to share a little bit of the bars, that's the classic. Well, even when Nas was talking about hip hop is dead, I'm gonna put a clip. How do he say? If hip hop is to die before I wake, I'm gonna load an inch of a clip, go down to the radio station and spray up the DJs for messing up my culture, right? You know what I'm saying? Like it is the DJ that, and that's I am gonna do a little bit of. I'm gonna get some turntables that way I can cut it up. Get hopefully fair use 1976 copyright. I don't get copyright claim for that right there for playing that little 2-second cut up. But I got to get my clearances and all that for that stuff. Even playing these games, view player, what's this? I don't know. But I'm just gonna jump right into the videos, and it's going to be a little bit of Brandon Johnson today. We already covered Eric Adams a little bit. Eric Adams is on his way out the door. Brandon Johnson is working his way out the door. It's going to be a little bit of Dana with the data. I'm going to start with Dana with the data first, but she's going to talk about Jasmine Crockett. As you can notice, whenever men say anything about women in politics, we're automatically labeled as misandrist, or not misandrist, misogynistic. So I'm gonna let Dana do the talking on that. Yes, Dana did. She did vote for Donald Trump. She's independent. She's not a Democrat. She's independent. But hey, the Democrats are going about it all wrong. Right now we're in a government lockdown, not lockdown, but suspension or whatever, and it's because of the Democrats. It's because of the Democrats, and it's holding back us receiving our funds that we need in order to rebuild our communities, right? All they're talking about is immigrants need more immigrants, and they're the ones that's locking out foundational Black Americans. Now, why we call ourselves foundational Black Americans, we've been over this before. We are hip hop. We are an American culture created by the children of the 1960s civil rights movement. That's when we made the change from being called Negroes, which is a Spanish kind of term, to saying Black, right? We were trying to re-identify ourselves. So it became I'm Black and I'm proud. Tethers latched onto it. So but I don't have a problem with that. With as far as say hip hop, that's why I say Busta Rhymes. I had to think of a good one. That's why I say Busta Rhymes. Yes, he might be they call them anchor babies now, right? But respectfully, Busta Rhymes is top 5 rapper, top 5 MC, right? Period. I don't your feelings, whatever, right? Yes, his culture is Jamaican. I ain't got a problem with that, right? We do Still Pulse, Tribute to the Martyrs is it's a reggae album, but I do consider that top 5 hip hop album. It's if you listen to it, if you study the lyrics of it and all that good stuff, it can change your life. It's one of those type albums. And shout out to my man Chris Charles for introducing me to the real culture, the underground reggae culture. The Rastas. So, but that is a part of hip hop. I do say it's a subset of hip hop. I do put hip hop as the larger community, culture, consciousness, because that's what took over the whole world. Our consciousness took over the whole world. That's what we're experiencing. So everybody wants to be down with us, but they want to lead us. And that's where to get to the problems of a lot of tethers is they want to be the leaders and they're misrepresenting our true community consciousness and culture. That's the problem, right? So they want to be African, but then they whatever part of Africa they from, Africa's a continent full of different countries. The United States of America are states, and yes, you can consider them small countries within the side, but we're working together to build a stronger alliance amongst our states. That's what we're supposed to be doing, so that I can go from Philadelphia down to Florida with no passes. I can go all the way to California with no passes, with no, you know what I mean? I don't need ID. I shouldn't need ID to go state to state, but I need ID to go state to state. Oh well. But here we got immigrants going state to state and they're committing crimes from state to state. Now you can't come to our country and do that, and that's what we're trying to eliminate. I'll talk more about that later on, but I'm going to share. I'm gonna jump right into the videos. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. Then I'll come back with maybe a little bit of driving this and summing up a little bit. I might interrupt in between the 2, 3 videos. I hope y'all enjoy it. Like, subscribe, and share. But this is going to be the knowledge. Then I'll be back with a little bit of wisdom to help y'all with the understanding. This is Volathan Modulus Tautology. I hope y'all enjoy this. Like, subscribe, and share. I already ate up too much time. And I'll cut off this music here. And then I'll cut off my voice and get right into the video. Let me cut off the back with this video thing too. And this right here. I appreciate all of you.
Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Dana with the Data. Yes. So before we get into the video, please like this video, share this video, and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the bell button to get all notifications. Now, let's get into it. Representative Jasmine Crockett just made a comparison that has foundational Black Americans, including myself, outraged. She compared ICE agents enforcing immigration law, which is their job, to slave patrols. The slave patrols that hunted down enslaved Black Americans. But here's what she got completely wrong. This isn't just historically inaccurate, it's deeply offensive to every Black American whose ancestors endured actual horrors of slavery. Let me show you exactly what Congresswoman Crockett said that has people upset.
Representative Jasmine Crockett from Texas.
Thank you so much, Madam Ranker, and thank you so much to our witnesses for being here today. I've sat and I've listened, and what my colleague, Mr. Christian Morthy, just talked about was just blatant racism. Like, I'm gonna just call a thing a thing. Like, this administration is racist. That he has always been a racist, and that is what we are enduring in this country. Let me give you some facts behind this racism, and they get mad when I say the things that I say, but I will not stop speaking the truth. Number one, I said that what we were experiencing in this country felt like what I would imagine slave patrols to look like. And frankly, anybody that knows anything about slave patrols, this is exactly what it was like. We're talking about lawless people that are going around with no warrants or anything, and it's all about rounding people up and disappearing them. That is what's currently taking place. And interestingly enough, even though modern day policing was born out of slave patrols, when I was speaking with one of my friends who is a federal law enforcement officer, he told me that one of the things that he has observed is that the culture is created at the top. And when I think about it, it absolutely makes sense. If you have somebody at the top that will not tolerate the types of things that we're seeing, then maybe those under you won't do it. But we know that we have a racist at the top. He has called himself the head law enforcement agent in this country, and therefore everybody has decided that it is okay to take off their hoods and mask up as ICE agents. Now, we've talked about how they have hidden themselves, but again, it reminds me of the Klan. That is why I proposed the Clear ID Act, to make them identify themselves, because it is dangerous for law enforcement as well as individuals, because you don't know, especially with ICE going around and doing the things that thugs do. They're busting out windows, they're breaking into homes, they're breaking people's arms. This doesn't sound like law enforcement, it sounds like thuggery to me. But just like you can have somebody at the top that sets the tone for ugliness going down, you guys are blessed, because in the city of Chicago, you have a mayor. You have a mayor that has decided that he will not back down, he will not bend to this administration, and instead he will stand up for the people. You have a man of valor that is going up against a villain, and I think that we have to make sure, especially while we're in his city, that we recognize his leadership because it is invaluable. Now, some people think that this is all about Chicago, but I want people to understand that this cancer is infecting us everywhere, and if you don't think that it can come to your city, well, I've got news for you. You see, we've been talking about the cruel and unusual punishment that is in violation of the 8th Amendment that is being handed out. And honestly, it's a spit in the face of every American that we have an actual convicted felon that feels aggrieved to the extent that he feels like he's owed hundreds of millions of dollars when people are literally dying under our watch. Recently, I just sent a letter, it looks like on October 22nd, to Kristi Noem. And one of the things that I laid out is that we have seen the most detainee deaths in ICE custody in a single year in decades, with 20 deaths in the last 9 months compared to 24 deaths in the prior 4 years. Now, this week, we learned that an individual who went to the Dallas ICE field office for a routine visit, meaning that they were doing things the quote-unquote right way, they were detained. They knew that this individual had diabetes and required insulin every 2 hours. Despite ICE having been told this, the individual was denied access to their medication for 8 days, resulting in hospitalization. There are some that say that we are making America great. But to me, it doesn't feel like greatness. It feels like grossness. And in fact, I want to ask a few questions, and it doesn't matter who answers them. Is it great or gross to go into people's houses and drag them out in the middle of the night?
Gross.
Is it great or gross to make people afraid to do something as simple as go to school? Is it great or gross to make hard-working people say, I am too scared to show up to my job? Thank you so much to each and every one of you for your courage. Thank you so much for showing up. And Miss O, I want to tell you that I understand that your mother is being detained in El Paso. I did go and visit that facility. I want you to know that I am always on my job. Oh, you're back.
Now, I want to be clear about something up front. This isn't about defending or attacking any particular immigration policy. This is about historical accuracy and respect for Black American lineage. Because when you understand what slave patrols actually were, you see why this comparison isn't just wrong, it's insulting. Slave patrols were organized groups of white men who hunted down human beings who were legally considered property. They had the authority to stop, search, beat, and kill Black people on sight. Compared to what we see today, people who made the choice to cross the border illegally, knowing the risks, but seeking economic opportunity here in the United States. Here's the core issue that Congresswoman Crockett completely missed. Captured from their homeland, chained and transported against their will, sold as property, no legal rights whatsoever, beaten, whipped, killed for trying to escape. Now let's look at the modern immigration situation. Choose to leave their country, travel voluntarily seeking opportunity, retain their citizenship and legal rights. They can voluntarily return home, and they are processed through our legal system. They come seeking opportunity, not running from slave catchers. It's a big difference.
I didn't live like this now.
What has happened with it? We don't have illegal aliens
I don't know if that's some sort of sci-fi message that you wish you had. Well, listen, the legal term for my people were slaves. You want me to use that term too?
You ask a mayor about city spending on migrants, and he acts like you just quoted a sci-fi movie. Mayor Brandon Johnson continues to crash out. He hears the word illegal aliens and then instantly starts crashing out and says, "We don't have those." Instead of answering the question, he makes it about himself, even comparing the term to slavery. We're gonna talk about this, and it seems like it's a pattern of him crashing out, but this is another example of how politicians dodge accountability with emotional wordplay instead of facts. Let's get into it.
That you're supposed to have filed a report on spending on illegal aliens in Chicago with the White House by now. What's happening with that, or what has happened with that?
We don't have illegal aliens. I don't know if that's some sort of sci-fi message that you wish you had. Well, listen, the legal term for my people were slaves. You want me to use that term too? So look, let's just get the language right. We're talking about undocumented individuals that are human beings. The last thing that I'm going to do is accept the type of racist, nasty language to describe human beings. And so as far as our spending on Chicagoans, I put forth a $16.7 billion balanced budget that ensures that we're investing in education, transportation, housing, youth employment, environmental justice, as well as ensuring that we have safe communities. And we are going to challenge the ultra wealthy to pay their fair share.
Dude didn't even try to answer the question. Mind you, he didn't answer the question. He heard the word illegal aliens and then just short-circuited. This man reacted like someone just insulted his wife, someone just kicked his dog, and this happens every single time. This is not just some random heckler on the street. This is the reporter asking about spending, money, budgets, real stuff. But instead of giving a number, he wants to give us all a performance. Dramatic nonsense, talking about this is racist language.
Considering that FBAs and even non-FBAs find your illegal alien slave comparison Lost in Space cadet out of this world, and also considering what Malcolm X said about white liberal racism being the death of blacks, how is blocking Willie Wilson from empowering some 17,000 Chicago Housing Authority seniors with food and nonpartisan voting registration during a government shutdown, by the way, and led by Democrats, and your Democratic allies blocking him from testifying before the Senate Judiciary Committee on what he feels is the need for militarized federal intervention in Chicagoland, not nasty and racist?
All right, I'm going to try to answer the last part of the question. Dehumanizing people is dangerous, and it is nasty, and it is racist. And what we cannot allow as a country, but more broadly as humanity, we cannot allow people to be dehumanized, because what it does is it opens up viciousness. Because if they're not seen as human beings, then whatever you do against them can be justified. And no one is going to convince me what the Trump administration is doing against black people and brown people can ever be justified. It is racist. When you bombard into people's homes in the middle of the night and you take black babies out of their bed and you zip tie them, that's sick. That's what.
Like, come on, this is getting ridiculous. This is the pattern with Mayor Brandon Johnson of Chicago. You can say anything that makes him look bad, he flips it around. He gets extremely emotional. And I've been watching this guy for quite a while, and there's countless times that he has been extremely immature and emotional when it comes to talking to the press, talking to reporters, not even the random people on the street. Let's check out some of his greatest hits.
Actually, if all of you can, just maybe even just a show of your hands, how many of you support taking out a
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
For a teacher's contract?
If you have a question for the mayor of Chicago, you can ask me a question. What you are not going to do is litigate what the board has the authority to do once they're appointed. You can ask that once they are appointed. No. I'm not going to do it. It's disrespectful. Do you have a question for me?
Okay, I'm sorry that you brought them up here, and it is a
Do you have a question for me? You got to ask your question. I'm trying to be patient.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nobody else in here is taking this long to monologue. So
Well,
respect your colleagues.
Well, out of
Get
respect,
to the question.
out of respect for
Okay, ask the question,
Jesse Kendall and his family.
William, I'm going to give you one more opportunity to ask a question. I'm going to move on. I get so sick and tired of people believing that the only thing that black and brown and poor people get to get in this city are badges. I get so sick and tired of people in this country and in this city that believes that the only thing that you can offer black people and poor people is jails, incarceration, and police officers. So law enforcement is a sickness that has not led to safe communities.
So you see, I've been watching this guy for the last year or so, and this is par for the course. He doesn't seem like he's able to handle this. He wants to make this type of thing into some kind of moral lecture. He gets to look like the victim, not the mayor. Every reaction seems like he is crafted for the camera, but not a city. And here where it gets worse, because he's not just dodging the questions, he's comparing illegal aliens to slavery. Slavery, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Most of the slaves were forced here. Illegal immigrants, most of them chose to come here. It's not the same. Even if you're talking about issues with trafficking, still a very small amount of people are forced. Most choose to come here. It's not even nuance, it's just complete nonsense. You can't rewrite history to dodge a question, and it just makes him look very weak. A grown man running the 4th largest city in America, a black man running the 4th largest city in America, acting like a word alien is some kind of personal attack. Because I believe that people in Chicago are tired of these emotional TikTok moments instead of real answers. And this is why his approval rating is circling down the drain. I understand he doesn't like Trump, he doesn't like what ICE is doing. This is a question for Chicago, not for the entire country. So it seems like he is trying to pull some cheap emotional trick instead of just providing a real answer.
Couldn't decide to go back home. They couldn't hire lawyers. They couldn't appeal to anyone for help. They were property, not people seeking economic opportunity. Here's what's really happening. Politicians like Jasmine Crockett are using Black American trauma as a political weapon. She's not fighting for foundational Black Americans. She's using our history to score political points on immigration.
I want y'all to know that every day that I walk in those halls, regardless of whatever rhetoric they put out about me, I am a very serious lawmaker. At the same time, if you try me, you will find out. I just want to be clear about that, because I am truly a Black woman at the same time. So
Where's this same energy for Black American unemployment, educational disparities in Black communities, healthcare gaps affecting Black Americans, criminal justice reform for Black Americans? Instead, she's comparing people who chose to break immigration law to our ancestors who were kidnapped and enslaved. She calls enforcing immigration law gross. But where's her outrage about the conditions facing Black Americans in her own district or anywhere else in this nation? This is what happens when politicians care more about virtue signaling than actually representing their constituents. If Congresswoman Crockett wants to have a serious conversation about immigration enforcement, let's have it. But don't insult Black Americans' intelligence by pretending it's the same as slavery. We can discuss immigration policy without rewriting history or appropriating Black American trauma. We can acknowledge that people seeking better lives deserve human treatment while also recognizing that laws exist for a reason. But what we won't do is let politicians use our ancestors' suffering as a prop for their political theater. Black American history is not your metaphor. Our trauma is not your talking point. We are descendants of people who built this country while being denied their humanity. That struggle is unique and it deserves respect. Jasmine Crockett owes foundational Black Americans an apology, not because she supports immigrants, but because she disrespected our lineage with her historical ignorant comparison. Our ancestors' struggle was real. Their sacrifice was real. Their trauma was real. And it's not the same as modern immigration enforcement. If you're tired of politicians using Black American history as a political prop, let me know. How about we start contacting Congresswoman Crockett and other people in Congress, demanding she and others show proper respect for foundational Black American lineage. Because until we hold our representatives accountable, they're going to keep treating our history like it's up for grabs. So what do you...
And they know exactly what foundational Black American stands for. FBA. We're hearing it over and over and over again, right? We're using FBA as the lineage, as the the moniker. I'm over here trying to do other things, two things at one time, and let me do the video capture here. I'm already at my 30-minute mark too, so I'm not really going to get into the game. I'm wrapping it up right now. That way, I know that was a lot of homework. And I'm gonna share links to all the whole videos of the two. Thanks again to Dana with the Data and Hannibal. Hannibal's a new page I just started following. Hannibal is hungry. I kind of like that. That's dope. Dana with the Data. She works with Judge Joe Brown. Judge Joe Brown, he letting he's a Republican minded. But this fight goes all the way back to Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois. One was the Negro Business League. That was one aspect of it. Booker T. Washington's creation, and the National Advancement, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. That was more of a socialism kind of movement. It was, even though they said nationalism, it was more of a socialism kind of concept that W.B. Du Bois was talking about with the talented 10th, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to get all into that. That's really not high school work. I'm just keeping it 100. That's college work. That's when I first started really analyzing and understanding it. High school was more, reading Frankenstein and Dracula and understanding how the literature has grown, and that's why I'm saying, check out that music that I was I gotta look at all my notes and stuff. I said it early in this thing. Let me should I play a little bit of it again? Try and open up my phone. The Wizard, the Witch, and the Wolfman, The Last Emperor, Hock Fillmore, and my little brother, Il Paduk. He only got him about 2 years, but I still call him my little brother. I love him to death. And let me see here. Let's play a little bit. Yeah.
I tune into my local radio station. I hear whack rappers and I grow impatient and undergo a horrible transformation. I unleash the beast within me. In fact, it's the sole reason that I'll be feasting on rappers.
He be feasting on the rappers. That's always been the culture. You want to battle, we can battle. I ain't got a problem with it. and we bring it 100. You know, I'm just clicking all this. I don't know what I'm doing over here. That's next. I don't know what's going on. Back. Oh, okay, whatever. Anyway, I'll play. You know, here's the demo or whatever. But I mean, that's it. I mean, check out those videos again. I might touch it again. They're sharing the same content that I've been sharing. So what in the world? I don't know. Anyway, next. Grand Prix. Okay. So I'm gonna check this out a little bit, and then y'all know how I do. You know, it is what it is, and I'll be back talking more. I mean, I could talk about these fake politicians because they're fake lawyers. They're supposed to be in the courtrooms helping out, especially if you want to use all of you're black and you're going through all this, and it's like, yo, we need representation in the actual courtrooms. We need your help, right? But instead, y'all grandstanding for illegals, right? Y'all want to call them undocumented, whatever. You still grandstanding, and especially when you're in the kind of work that I'm in, where I'm trying to help on a management, business, building, and economic position, because that's what my real position was, and bringing, you know, hey, here's an immigrant, okay, no problem, teach them the ropes, whatever. But then it's they fire me to give them my position, like with the WTF, right? Or, you know what I mean, for years under George Bush and Obama, I was working underneath immigrants, helping them to understand how to be better managers, how to actually do the business, customer service, economics. And it's like, we're not giving me any credit. They taking all the credit, and then it's, you know, you got to find a new job, bouncing from place to place, and having a hard time to grow wealth from that kind of aspect is BS. And we as Foundation of Black Americans, we're done with it. So that's why we, you know, voting is a waste of our time. It's more so building. So subscribe, like, share. Most importantly, love God, respect the Lord, and seek wisdom. Let's get back into our holiness, you know. That's God is love, hip hop is life. Time is, you know, start cherishing the time that God is giving you on this earth. Money is nothing more than that fourth dimensional illusion that really doesn't exist, because it's hip hop that's the art of making the most out of life. 1, God is understood. Harmony, happiness, and peace to you all. Allah. I am obedient to, I'm not a Muslim, but it is all God's will. So y'all take it one step at a time, and enjoy the life God has given you, okay? It's one timeline, so enjoy it. This is Volothan Modulus Tautology. I'll be back with, you know, some more, and to recap, and I'll get us a title. I don't know, it doesn't really matter, but I'm staying on topic with what we're talking about, okay? Sticking to the program. Peace.